Is it working? All right. All right, I just need to link this thing. How are you not going to give me a link? That's messed up. Streams. There we go. That should do it. All right, let me just copy this and paste it, and then we'll get going. Sorry. This is really throttling my computer. See if that works. If that works, I think we're good. No, that doesn't work. All right. Wouldn't be life if there weren't problems. 1 second. If you are there in the chat, let me know. Type me a little message real quick while I'm doing this so I can see that it's working okay. I'd appreciate that. And then I swear I'm done right after I do this. Talking about PRS guitars. Okay. That should be it. Hey, how's it going, man? Yeah, I still can't believe this thing. I'll take this off for a second. This is... I don't know if you saw that I got this today. Or yesterday, rather. This is unbelievable. What a crazy story, honestly. Kind of nuts. Oh, man. And yeah, just let me make sure. I think that the video quality is pretty decent. If it's coming through okay and you can hear me okay, let me know. Yeah, it was a little bit insane. I did not picture myself sitting with this guitar. And what's funny is it's already been modified. Oh man, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But this thing is, it's crazy because I have the blue McCarty that's also an S2, and on paper these look really similar to each other spec-wise, but feel they're very, very different. And this one's, I think, a full pound lighter, which makes a big difference to me, you know, standing up and, you know, even sitting down just with this guitar. It's the neck doesn't feel like it's like I'm pulling it up as much as I have to when I'm using the single cut, but both are fantastic. It's just, this was one hell of a surprise, I'll say that much. But I'm gonna just play right now just to test to see if the levels are all right again. I think they are from last time, but last time I was on Twitch and today we're on YouTube, so. Oops. So if that was okay, let me know. If that's the case, then yeah, then I'm pretty much good to go here. I have a pretty decent kind of setup thanks to the Helix. Yeah, this is a color that, if I'm just blunt, I don't know if I would have picked it. Because I did have the Les Paul that was a very, very green over the top like this as well. But this one, in person, look at that. This is fantastic. It's kind of my speed. I like flashier things. This just looks like a lizard, so I named it Lizzie. And, you know, I'm a big Gary Moore fan. He played in Thin Lizzy, so it seemed pretty appropriate. But the pickups are already gone. I put the stock pickups, I took them out last night because I bought PRS pickups that I was going to put into that McCarty. I was going to put these pickups in the next string change for that one, and I wasn't expecting this one. And whenever I get a new guitar, doesn't matter if it's a PRS or a Fender or whatever it is, I take the strings off because I don't really like tens, and I wanted to set the guitar up anyways. So while I was setting the guitar up, I figured, you know what, I'm just going to throw these straight into this because I already know what the pickups sound like on the S2 McCarty. Obviously, I have one. So this has the 58, no, what are these, 5708s already into it, and my God, the difference between the 5708s and the stock pickups, this is a completely different guitar, which kind of makes me think, I'm not sure what the way to go is if you're shopping for a PRS, whether you should buy a used core, because it's almost the same price, because these pickups are not cheap. I got them for $300, but normally they're like $430. So $430 plus, the cost of the guitar, that's, like $2,200. It's wild. It's fantastic though. It's fantastic. And if you have one of these guitars, the rest of the electronics are actually, they're not terrible on it. So it's pretty much a straight in drop. I had it installed within like 15 minutes. Yeah. But this was not expected. This was not expected whatsoever. And yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at it in the camera and I'm like, whoa, I'm like, this looks even better in the camera than it does when I'm just looking at it here. I don't know why that is. But if there's anything you guys want to talk about, open discussion, stuff like that, and yeah, we can go from there. But, oh, God, I'm perched. It was a new color last year. Yeah, oh man. The Tremontis are so good. I saw a Tremonti used come up. It had the faded blue jean finish on it, and I don't think I would like that color until I saw it. Oh my God, it's so classy, and it has the cover on the humbucker itself, but then it has the uncovered on the bridge. It looks mean, man. Guy wanted like $2,800 for it, and I'm not in the market to be buying guitars, and somehow I still got a guitar. I don't know. And obviously this doesn't replace the Gibson. It's not the same thing. Hey, thanks, Chima. Yeah, I mean, this is quite the top. And again, I have to say, I can't stop looking at it in the camera. It looks almost better in the camera than it does in here. It's a wonder of lighting, I suppose. But a little strange to say the least. And no, Tremontis are awesome. And I'm really debating it. I think I'm actually going to make a video about the S2 new with the pickup swap versus the core models, because I don't know if there's as much value. I mean, you're still getting a better guitar than you're going to get any Gibson in that price range, period, if you went a core or you went one of these and then put in new pickups in it. But the price isn't, it's closer than people think it is if you're buying used. So just food for thought here. But if there's anything you guys would like to talk about or, stuff like that, obviously with the contest, I was checking kind of where things are with the poll. I can't even give stuff away. I'm trying to give away a guitar or a pedal here. And I think I have like 10 people that have voted on which they would rather have. So if you haven't voted and you want to tell me right now, what do you think would be a better prize for trivia? Would it be better to give away like a $200 or $300 guitar or like a pretty high-end pedal, like a $200 or $300 pedal? I think that it's going to depend basically what you have as far as guitars go, because my audience is a lot older than I thought it was going to be, which means I probably think that most people already have, one or two like really, really decent guitars, and maybe a budget guitar might not be ideal for them and a pedal might be more likely. But, the thought of getting a new guitar for anybody, I think, is a pretty cool thing. Obviously, for me, I think it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I think PRS make the most versatile guitars. And I have to say, the coil splits on this are infinitely better than the ones that from the normal factory electronics. I love them on the CE24. I actually think I like them a little bit more here. I'm just going to let you hear kind of like the volume differences between them. I got to put my headphones on so I can hear it. So I'm going to go to the neck. So if I got my tone and my volume all the way up here. So if I'm just... That's just straight away. And then if I pop it... it's so much more natural sounding. Like, and then if I were to show you by example here, let me put this on mute so you don't hear me switch. I'll use the electronics that are stock on the other McCarty. Just so you can kind of hear. It's a big difference. Especially the coil tap. That really, it blew my mind how different it was. Alright, so same thing. Okay, that's without the tap, and then with the tap. Like, it still sounds good, but it kind of sounds a little bit cheaper, if that makes sense. And obviously, these pickups are a lot cheaper that are in the S2 stock than the 5708s. But, yeah, I mean, in the middle. Do the same thing. Go back to the greenie. I should just name the thing Greenie. But I think Lizzie is very appropriate. Alright. So same thing. We'll go right to the middle. Show how my tones are. Oh. So same thing. Oh yeah, that's so much nicer. Hey Ian, how's it going? Yeah, the Columbia stuff is, man. I saw even in Miami, they were in protesting there, and I don't know what's going on with all that here, because I don't know what they can really accomplish in Miami, but I don't know. I'm not gonna dig deep into it, but it's really bad, especially in Cali and Medellin. It's not great in Colombia right now, but yeah. Inspire me to go back to the OR-15. Yeah, dude, the OR-15, it's so weird, and it kind of goes back to something that I learned a long time ago. If something works for you, as far as a guitar or an amp or a pedal, doesn't really matter. The price shouldn't be like a determining factor, because I had that Rev amp, and that was, I'm sure a lot of people love that amp. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I like the cleans a lot on it, and I like being able to go right into the interface and kind of be able to get usable tones like straight out of the box. It takes a lot of the effort out of it, but as far as the gain goes on that, the orange gain is just, it's its own thing, and it's way more suited for me. And I paid $550 flat for that amp, and the Rev amp new, I think, is 14. And this is, to me, substantially better. I like the orange substantially more. And I don't know. It's all down to personal preference. I can see where some people wouldn't like orange, because it's very orange. And I know that sounds like an obvious thing to say, but there's some amps you can kind of get other tones out of. Once you get past like halfway on the gain on this, you're not fooling anybody. It's all orange. So that's just something to consider. But I do want to put new tubes into it. I have them already. I kind of been stocking up on things. I don't know. Have you guys been doing this too? Just in general, I think I have like 20 sets of guitar strings, and I always have extra tubes for the Music Man. And another thing I really like about the oranges, that takes EL84s, and so does the Music Man. So I can kind of double up on my supply here and have both amps covered. The only difference is the Music Man doesn't use preamp tubes. It's a solid state preamp. So this, I have to use Muller's 12AX7s. But the difference in tone between the stock tubes, the Chinese ones that come in the oranges, versus the Muller's and the Saltex, there's It's really good. It's like a blanket kind of comes off the guitar amp. I love orange. I love orange. In a perfect world, it would be in a rocker verb behind me, but as it is now, this is already more than enough volume, and I don't want to piss anybody off too much, especially because I think this time next week, what's today, the 13th? Yeah, almost this time next week, I'm going to have my drums here, and my neighbors, dude, they're going to hate me. They're going to hate me so much. Like, I kind of feel bad for them, but I don't, because what am I going to do, not play drums? And, yeah. Not many people. Well, how'd you learn Spanish? I know that there's a lot of Mexican people that went north into like kind of Ohio and Michigan and Indiana and stuff like that. Some of the best Mexican food I've ever had outside of being in Mexico is there in kind of the northern area. It's very surprising, but my 4-year-old wants to learn drums. Mine is going to be 4 in 2 weeks, and she already has her own drum kit, and hers will be here too. And yeah, I don't think she's going to really be a guitar player. And I've been trying. I don't want to force anything on her. Like I got her the Jag, but it's so heavy for her, and she's small. Like I'm a small dude, and my wife's tiny. She's like 5'1". So we have this small little Colombian Mexican baby, and she sits up with the guitar, and it like literally falls like on her lap onto its back. So she's a little too small to be holding the thing up, but she sings all the time, and she bashes the hell out of anything with the drumsticks. Cause I still have some sticks here from my old setup in California. So I think when those get here, we'll kind of have a disaster of noise between me and her. And yeah, I feel bad for everybody, more so for my wife. She's gonna want to pull her hair out. She's gonna get a lot more gray hairs, and that sucks. But what are you gonna do? But again, if there's anything you guys just want to talk about, I don't know. I don't really want to have a format to any of this stuff. I just like the idea of being able to kind of discuss things and talk in real time. Because it is nice being able to talk to you guys in comments. I recognize all the names that are talking right now, and that's super cool. But I think there's something different to, when you ask a question or being able to interact like kind of instantly. And I think it's either going to be Thursdays or Fridays. We're going to do this every single week. It's all about what you guys want. Drums for a 4-year-old. Tamas. They have, I forget the name of it. I'm actually, before this is done, actually, let me just make a note of it so I don't forget. Tama makes a kit that's not a toy. The problem's going to be, you don't want to buy something for like $150 that they're not going to be able to grow into, and that's literally going to sound like crap, and it's going to be a waste of money, because if you're going to get rid of it, unless you hold it on and you have other kids and you want them to grow up and start playing along with them, you're not going to get anything on resale for them. But I think Tama's, you can get a kit, it's like $250 to $300, and if you put decent heads on it, it's good sized for a little kid to play, but it sounds good, and the older they get, they'll actually be able to keep using it. So let me just make sure I have the actual name right here. Kid, I think it's a bebop kit. Let me see here. Club Jams. You get those. Yeah, look at that. 330 brand new at Z-Sounds, which means if you get them used, you can find them on Reverb. There's a lot of people that'll sell these used for anywhere between $2 and $250. Infinitely better, and it's worth the investment. And it's something that I think it's a 16-inch or a 14-inch bass drum. So if you wanted to even mess around with drums for yourself, it's a legitimate kit. It has a riser on it, so when you're hitting the kick drum's not going to be on the ground. It's going to be a little awkward, but it'll work just fine. It'll sound good. DiMarzio's nice. I like DiMarzio's. I like those. That's not what's controversial. It's controversial that you're the only person that I've ever talked to that likes the modern Telecaster bridge. That's just weird to me, man. I can't do it. I don't like the old Telecaster bridge that doesn't have the individual slots on each of the saddles. but I don't like the individual saddles. I just think it looks like wrong on a Telecaster to not have the three brass saddles on it. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, and with kid stuff, it's a nightmare because it's like a catch 22 with a lot of things with kids, and people will see things like at a Target or a Walmart, like a guitar, a ukulele, drums. It doesn't matter what the hell it is, but it's so like poorly made that once the kid gets over that initial like happiness of having it, if they want to sit and actually learn and play on them, it's they're not going to be happy with it. They're not going to be happy with it because they're toys. Inherently, they're toys. They're not really instruments. The best thing you can do is if you're going to do something cheap like that, get an ukulele. Yeah, ukulele. We have one that I think it was given to us. It's like $20, and the thing actually holds in tune really well. My kids painted it, and it gets beaten up pretty bad, and then you're not so worried about things getting beaten up at all, like as far as damage goes, because I mean it's $20. It's not the end of the world if something bad happens. But yeah, I don't know. So if it was a guitar, going back to the kind of prize thing, a Les Paul, a Tele, a Strat, or like the one I have. Like, hold on. What do you think? I think this would be a pretty sweet prize. But I also think that it's not for everybody. And I think the finishes, I think two of them are like totally backordered. I think if you went to get the blue one of these right now from Tolman directly, it's something like 8 weeks to wait for it. That's a while, man. I'd like to be able to, once this happens, to be able to give it to somebody pretty quick and not have to worry about shipping times and delay times, because that would suck. Because what if you win something, you get all excited, I get all excited, I give these guys my money, and then they're like, oh well, we'll get back to you guys, we'll let you know when it's ready. Nah, no, I'd rather have something that was good to go. Thanks, Ian. I really do appreciate it, man. And Ian's super cool. Ian's, like I said, he's very strange because he's like me. I think anybody that plays a 339 and a jazz master is inherently a very strange person, but that's a good thing. But my wife just got home. She had to run out. But how did it go?
Well, good. There's another step and more money that I have to do, of
More
course.
money?
Yeah,
Isn't that just our life? Everyone just wants more money.
more money.
You want to come say hi?
And I have to pay the registry
You have to pay a registry? You can come in. The camera's right there. Oh, you don't want to. Yeah, she's a woman. She doesn't have makeup on. So, you know how that goes. Supposed to go to Hawaii. Had the pandemic. Yeah, weird. There's nothing. That's one of the worst things about this. We wanted to go to Japan. We wanted to move to Japan. And I don't think we're gonna be able to do it for years, honestly now, because they won't let anybody in. Period. Unless you have a visa, you just can't even go visit. Forget even like moving there. So, we had work lined up and all that too. And yeah, I love Japan, but it's a consequence of the wildness of this world. Rowan says hello though. Says hello, hello. You don't have makeup on. I know. I can't see you. Say hello. Yeah,
Say hello.
yeah, there you go.
Like the what's it called? The chat lines when you used to call. I don't know if that was a thing right in New York, but in California we called it the party line.
The party line?
Yeah, and you call the number and then you just get like mixed in with different people and you can hang up on different people and and talk to new people and
Is that thing we got really stoned once and called?
maybe.
Sorry, that was a long time ago.
Maybe. I don't think they have it anymore.
No, I think we did. I think we did. Yeah, you call up and you kind of say your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just like connect you with like super sketchy people.
Super sketchy people.
Yeah.
It was like before Craigslist sketchy.
To be young and kind of stupid
Oh,
and
yeah.
making bad decisions.
Very stupid.
Yeah, that's not what I thought I was going to talk about, but I'll take it. Yeah, the party line. I didn't think anybody else in their right mind would call something like that, and yeah, apparently we did.
No, nobody in their right mind.
Nobody in their right mind. Yeah, but we're not in their right minds.
Yeah.
We're musicians. I think anybody that's a musician is not in their right mind. I think it's just kind of one of those things. But yeah, let me know. Going back, I got off track there. Um, what kind of guitar would it be then? What do you think would be a good appealing guitar? Do you go kind of risky in the finish? Not like this, because I know, I don't know. I'm weird. I've I mainly gigged with a pink paisley Japanese Telecaster for years, and I don't care. I like having something really identifiable because then if it gets stolen, you know, I know it's mine. But I know some people that like more of a traditional finish on their guitars. I get that too. So, what would you guys think as far as that goes? Maybe like a black Les Paul or maybe like a bluish Strat. I don't know. There's so many options, and I do like that about Tolman. That in that price range, you do get a quality instrument, and it does have a pretty cool finish on it. So I'm open for ideas, but I thought maybe if it was gonna be a pedal, like a Catalan bread, or maybe you know what, maybe it'll be a JHS because I have fallen in love with that Morning Glory throwback. We lived in San Diego, and about 15 minutes from Tijuana, the Mexican border. Yeah, it was. If I was ever going to go back to California, which the way things are looking, I don't think you could pay me to live there ever again, especially with a child. But it would be San Diego for sure. Escondido's not far away. Escondido's pretty close. Also pretty nice. So once you go north of there, it gets pretty dicey pretty quick. Los Angeles is not the best place. Not the best place in the world to be, especially right now. Not in tune. I don't know. And now I have. I was saying earlier, I put the pickups from the. I swapped the pickups in the S2 already to the 5708s. You think I should put these PRS pickups into this? You think that would be worth it, or should I just sell these, and then one day down the road throw in something cheaper like Duncan's or something like that into the Harley Benton? Because this is a nice guitar, but I feel like it's overkill to put a set of pickups in a guitar where the pickups are worth more than the guitar itself. That's just me. I think that's a little bit. I think that's a little bit too much, and I do like it, but I don't like it that much. I don't like it enough to put that kind of money into a guitar like this. Well, let me hang it back up. But yeah. Yeah, I can't stop doing it. Looks so good in the camera. It's light too. I weighed it. It's 7.2 pounds, and that's like perfect for me. So, yeah, I still don't believe the circumstances of it, you know. And I guess something really good came out. Hey, Daniela, how you doing, man? Yeah, we're gonna be doing this on a regular basis. But yeah, I mean, for all the negative that happened with the acoustic, that still sucks. I still haven't gotten paid for that, by the way. Just throwing that out there. UPS hasn't given me the money for the guitar, the $1,000, if it even is, because when I go on the website, it says it was approved for $100. So if we get a check for $100 for a Gibson Dove, guys, we're gonna be. I really don't want to. I really don't want to make more videos. I really don't want to talk about that anymore. I find it so outrageous that these people are the way that they are as far as how they conduct business. But I mean, this is something amazing that came out of it. Granted, it's not an acoustic and it's not, a replacement for it in any way, shape, or form. But this is, I don't know. I've never been given something like this, and I really, 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 really like it. Out there in California. Oh no, yeah. No, there's that housing market's destroyed. If you wanted to even rent, it's like $3,000 for 800 square feet, two bedroom. in a nice part of California. So it's not ideal. Yeah, the UPS one, it never ceases to amuse me. But yeah, just to finish, they didn't even refund the shipping itself that I paid to ship the guitar. Which, guys, they lost the guitar. They won't replace the guitar, and I haven't been paid back or refunded the shipping cost that I paid for a guitar they lost. I don't know. I don't know how they stay in business, guys. We need them more than they need us. That's for sure. I guess that's the conclusion that we can all come to is at the end of the day, they're still going to stay in business no matter what happens or who they screw over. So, yeah, they're going to do what they're going to do. But, yeah, this is, man, it's to die for. Especially on the back. I filmed a kind of quick review for it yesterday after I got off the phone and made sure that, everything was straight. And this was indeed the right guitar. And I played through it for a while, but when I edit that video, I think I'm going to post that tomorrow. This neck is like identical as far as the shade and the grain goes to the Gibson I had. So when I'm sitting and playing it and I look down with the bound neck and everything, it does remind me of that Les Paul piece. And the fact that it has the binding, the green, granted it's a lot lighter than that Les Paul piece was, which is okay in my book. That was a heavy guitar for me. That was like, I don't know, like 9 pounds, something like that. Which some people not a big deal, but no, the lawyer thing would cost me more money in the long run, or up front rather, and because it was a franchise, I would have to go back to California and deal with them, and that's 3,000 miles away. I'm not trying to do that, and we've spent more money than we wanted to spend on this move for a multitude of reasons, and some of them, are totally out of our control, but you have to deal with the cards you're dealt sometimes, and that's cards we're dealt, so we're just trying to adapt, and I kind of want to look forward. I don't want to keep looking back on it, and one day I'll replace that guitar, but as of right now, I don't have an immediate need for an acoustic anyways, and I will have a guitar that I bought from Madrid in Spain. That's coming down with my drums. It's my old Spanish style guitar, so I'll have something, and that'll be pretty cool. So maybe, what's today, the 13th? It'll be here on the 22nd. So yeah, after that I'll have a video probably shortly after, but that's gonna be a tough week because I have all my families coming to visit, all of them, and then my wife's mother's coming to visit, and it's my kid's 4th birthday. So it's gonna be probably a lot of pre-filmed content for you guys the week of the 23rd through like the 28th, something like that. And then we really get to get going. I can't wait for that. To be able to play guitars more, because somebody, they're not here now, Jason, who regularly comments on these videos, he says that one thing he doesn't like about guitar YouTubers is they talk too much and there's not enough playing. And I actually agree with that. I think there needs to be a lot more playing in all of this stuff, because at the end of the day, what are we here for? We're here because we like to play guitar and hear guitar. But the way copyright works, I can't play along with songs and not have videos either completely not visible. It will just block it entirely, and I can't even post it onto YouTube, or it demonetizes it, or it'll it'll just like blank out that portion of the video that has the sound to it. And the demonetization thing doesn't really bother me. Obviously, I'm not monetized. I don't have enough subscribers to be monetized, which I don't know. And I looked into, one of those things where how do you get more people to subscribe? After like 5 minutes of starting the research, I'm like, that's just like, it's so like weird. It feels like you're not doing it for the right reasons at that point too. It's like not really, I don't know, the right way to go about things, and marketing techniques, and going on Instagram. And I know if you guys follow me on Instagram, I'm not good at it. I don't even post every day. I don't tag things correctly. I don't care. I post pictures of guitars, and once in a while I post a picture of my kid. But yeah, I won't be able to do things the way I want to until the drums come. And then I'm going to be able to play the bass, the drums, and really, really try out and demo these guitars and do some sort of cover songs that are, not going to get me stricken down. So that should be a gigantic improvement. And the other thing that's coming down is I have a Roland piano. That's really nice, and that'll be here too. And yeah, after that, I got no excuses left. I got no excuses left other than I don't want to piss off my neighbors too much. Like I said, I can't stress that enough. I'm very conscious of that. And I know a lot of musicians aren't, but I don't know. I always feel like I'm bothering people if I'm playing too loud, whether it's guitar or drums or, just general practice. But yeah, not a fan of USPS. Yeah, USPS isn't. They're at least really good with their insurance. I'll give the post office a lot of credit because I've had stuff go missing with them, and they've taken care of it within like 2 business days. So at least with them, if they're gonna lose your stuff, you're gonna have a resolution pretty quick. The UPS drama, it's like going on 4 weeks and it's still not done yet. Yes, it is easy to quit while you're ahead, and sometimes you have to quit while you're behind. It's true. You kind of have to. But anyways, let's try not to mention the Voldemort company that shall not be named, even though I named them. So, like I said, if there's anything that you guys would like to kind of talk about, we can do anything like that and go from there. But yeah. I was looking at because I've seen people use mesh heads on drums, but it totally takes all the sound out of it. You ever tried a PRS clone from Harley's? I've never tried one. I saw somebody make a video about it. I forget who it was. Maybe it was the 60 Cycle Hum. I feel like it was him, but he played a core PRS and a Harley Benton version of it, and it's pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be. But I don't know. I like their B stock, so if they get one in B stock, I think that would be a good idea. Yeah, I can do that. It's pretty cheap, but I think the main thing is going to be it's just not going to be as good. It's just not going to be as good. It can't be. Not for that money. Controversial guitar opinions. I hate SGs. I think the SG is a piece of garbage. I don't like anything about it. That sounds so harsh. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like shredder guitars. The only shredder guitar I like is the ESP, the Horizon. I don't know. I don't like the necks on them. I think the majority of Fender amps are overrated, if you can believe that. I think that's pretty controversial. I love the Princeton. The Princeton's fantastic, but the Blues Junior, I think it's a piece of junk. I don't like the Blues Junior at all. And I know a lot of people rave by those and say how good they are. I think that there's substantially better amps that are cheaper by different manufacturers. Like I think that Black Star, the 6L6 Black Star smokes the Blues Junior. Oh, it smokes it. And I think it's $200 cheaper. Yeah. I don't know, other like controversial stuff. I don't know. I'm pretty standard. I think Fenders and Gibsons aren't worth it anymore. New. I don't think they're worth it anymore, but I don't think I'm the only one to think that. Did I like that ESP? I like the 256. I wouldn't buy it though. And I wouldn't recommend somebody else buy it unless that they had only that amount of money. And that's not because it was bad. But the only reason I would say that is because you can get an EC 1000, which is noticeably a better guitar, or one of the 401s. And those come with DiMarzios in them from the factory. And used, you'll spend like 50 or 60 more bucks. And, you got much better pickups in them. So to me, I would spend a little bit more money and then just, you don't have to worry about anything. Because in a 256, eventually you're going to want to replace the pickups on it if you're a serious guitar player. It's just one of those things. And if you can already have it done with pretty good pickups as is, just save yourself the headache. Pay in advance. Don't worry about soldering or anything like that. Yeah, had a B stock. Repainted. Why did it censor Tolman? That's really strange. Is that censored on your end? Did you enter it censored? Or did YouTube censor the word Tolman? What does that translate to? Well, one of you Google that real quick? I find that strange. Unless that was intentional. If that was intentional, then all right. But if not, why would the word Tolman be censored? Unknown mysteries and Google and the conspiracies are out to get us in every way, shape, and form. Oh, you did. Okay. All right. That makes me feel a little bit better. I was gonna say, I don't know, man. Stuff gets censored. Speaking of that, my wife, she posted a video of herself playing bass guitar on Instagram, and I messaged her and I said, "The video's black. Did you screw up filming it or editing it?" And she's like, "No." And she played it back on her phone and it worked. But when she went to Instagram, it was censored, so she deleted it, and it's just audio. We can't figure out why it is. It was just her in like a Miles Davis t-shirt playing bass guitar, and they blacked out the video of it, and there was no like audio issues. But you can have girls literally with their butts like out, like completely out, and that's okay. But playing bass guitar, that's not allowed to see that. Strange times, very strange times, you guys. I've heard mixed things about the B stocks. I've heard some people get a lot of really good deals, and I've heard some people say stuff like you have. One guy got sent the wrong guitar 3 times from Tolman on a B stock, the wrong one, like entirely. I don't know how happy I'd be about that. Oh, I know a really controversial, not a guitar thing, just a music thing. I can talk about bands that people love that I don't like at all. That I don't like at all. I hate you too. I think you two suck. And I don't know why. I don't like them at all. I don't like the Who. I think I don't like the Who at all. I really don't like the Doors. It's just kind of bland music to me. Um, I like Pink Floyd. I can't say anything bad about Pink Floyd. Just kind of, I don't know. I'm not so big into that whole stoner kind of genre of stuff, but no, I really really don't like the Doors, and I know a lot of people love the Doors, and I think that's fairly controversial, truth be told. But let me know what are some bands and the Strokes. I can't stand the Strokes. I can't stand the Strokes as far as modern bands go. Um, I'm just torn about whether to buy a new amp or guitar first. Amp. If you have a Jackson Dinky and a Line 6 Spider, amp. That's not a contest. You upgrade the amp. Are you gonna be playing aggressive music? What's your kind of budget there? Stuff like that. If you got a Jackson, I'm thinking you're playing a little more aggressive. You can get like I said, the Black Stars. Black Stars are awesome. You get one of those used Black Star tube amps. Don't get the ID series. One of those. Don't get one of those. Don't get one of those solid state ones, because for really comparable money, you can get a 2 Black Star amp, and it'd be much better. That's just my opinion. Or even the HT1 is not bad. If you don't have to worry about going out and gigging and stuff like that, the HT1 or the HT5, if you can swing it financially, they're not bad. But the studios, those Studio 10s, any of the Studio 10s, awesome value, really good. That's just me. That's what I would buy. But the Jackson, I would keep. There's nothing wrong with those guitars. When you have like kind of like that disparity in quality between the guitar and the amp, you have to bring one up to the level of the other one, and then you end up like me, where it's a rat race where you just keep lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting until you have no money left and you come crashing down. But if you can kind of make a more concerted effort to know what you want and really take your time and not rush purchases, that's probably the best advice I can give to anybody, period. And that doesn't matter if it's a guitar or an amp. And what sucks is, the inventory is down. So if you're lucky enough to live in an area where a music store is open, you might not have a lot to pick from. Like I was at the Guitar Center here in Fort Myers. I needed to pick up a speaker cable so I could hook up the Torpedo. And they had like 4 sets of strings that are Ernie balls, period, in the entire store in Fort Myers. They had no cabinets for sale as far as guitar cabinets. They had no external cabs. They had your typical Blues Junior, DeVille, Deluxes, stuff like that. The cheap solid state Marshall half stacks that people spend money on, and then a year later they're like, "Why did I buy this? This is not only not great sounding, but it's gigantic and it was really expensive." They had that, and I want to say 20 total guitars is really, really slim pickings. But proof to the point there, it's hard to try stuff and really get a feel for what you like. And I try to do things on YouTube kind of uniform when I'm doing reviews. I try to use the same kind of settings, whether I'm using the Helix or if I'm going to be going through, the amps now that I have the Torpedo. I try to keep things somewhat, a good baseline. Because that way, if you're somebody that does watch a bunch of the ways that I do my demos and stuff like that, you'll kind of have an idea of how things sound, and that will give you a better idea when I do get in a newer guitar or change pickups or amp or whatever, just a little bit more of an honest truth of what you can expect. And that's tough right now. You can't stand Oasis? Oh, get out of it. Get out of here. Get out of here. No, I'm just kidding. Oasis is weird for me, man. Like, there are some Oasis songs I love, but then there are some Oasis songs I'm like, who wrote this? Like, what are you guys doing? But I think there's the songs that they do have. I don't know. At heart, I like pop music, and a lot of people consider only like stuff like Ariana Grande or Katy Perry pop. No, I consider the majority of guitar music that you're gonna hear on the radio, that's all pop. Even metal, like a lot of Metallica, that's really pop, because pop at the end of the day is just popular music, But I could see why Oasis, they're dicks too. They're real dicks. I personally, I find it endearing that they're dicks, because everybody's so like politically correct and they don't want to offend anybody anymore. And it's nice to have some people like Liam and Noel still around that they don't care. They're going to say whatever the hell they want. They're not going to apologize for it. And to that point, I tip my hat, because anybody in this day and age who's brave enough to actually say something and then stand behind it, more importantly, yeah, I give you credit, even if I disagree with you. Oh, and yeah, I don't know why people want to learn Oasis. On the JHS video, I did play Don't Look Back in Anger, because I know the song. I used to play it with a buddy of mine when we were in high school. We used to play that. He would sing and I would play the guitar. So it's one of those things, it's like 6 chords. You never forget it. That's the only reason I remembered it, though. But I never actively listened to that band really outside of that. So yeah, I love Noel though. I think he's a good writer. Oh, I love Blur. I love Blur. I like Blur's guitar tone a lot. They're a really underrated brand. They never really came up that big stateside. They obviously had song number 2, but outside of that, most people, if you put on a Blur song, they'd have no idea who it was. They're more likely to know a band like the Presidents of the United States of America, and that, oh my God, that song. Now it's gonna be in my head. Millions of Peaches. Peaches for me. God, no, I don't want that song in my head. That's not a good song. It's not a very good song. What non-guitar music do I like? Non-guitar music. I like classical piano. Um, when my kid was born, I wanted to make it a point that she heard a lot of classical music, because it's important for them to kind of build that vocabulary, even without even without like purposely having an instrument in front of them or anything like that. So I would always play Chopin, and he's my favorite pianist, and I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly, but to me he's my favorite. But I love classical piano, and that I could listen to on a fair bit basis. It's very relaxing, and it's very insightful as a guitar player to listen to complicated stuff like that. Make you think about your instrument different. And that's one way that I find myself, kind of improving, is I'll listen to classical piano or something like that, and I'll try and pick up things, and in my head, without holding a guitar, I'll try and piece it together, and it's a good exercise. It's a really good exercise. Muse. I think Muse and Incubus are the same in the way I look at them, and not because of the genre, but because this is old man on his porch here. I know that, but when those bands first started, they were really gritty, and I loved it. Incubus was one of my favorite bands growing up, and I really grew to like Muse. I loved his guitar tone, and I love the filter choice that he uses on his voice when he does use one, like on a plug-in baby. It's really really good, and I think the bass guitarist of Muse, oh, that guy's a monster, dude. That guy's phenomenal. But as those bands have gotten older, and as they've tried to stay, in the public eye, more relevant, not every band does this. Some of them will kind of just stay to what they are, or they'll grow in a different kind of style where they're not kind of growing with what music is popular at the time. They'll just kind of grow as artists themselves, and I respect that a little bit more. But bands like Weezer, Muse, Incubus, they're trying to still adapt to whatever's popular at the moment, and I don't care for any of the new stuff that any of them have really put out. I bought that Incubus 8 album, and what was that, 2016, 2017, and I haven't even seen if they've done anything since. I just wasn't really interested. But old Muse, I love Muse. I actually like playing Muse on bass. I play Hysteria on bass. That's so much fun. That is so much fun. That's a real workout. Really good for your fingers, that song. But other non-guitar music, I don't know. I listened to, when I was younger, I used to live in arcades, basically. So I would get off. There was a place called Chinatown Fair in New York City, and then when I was down there, like really young, I would go to Chinatown Fair and play like games like Street Fighter and stuff like that. And there was always racing games too. And there was this one racing game called Initial D, and it was a manga. It was based on a manga, and they had a video game of it, and I actually really liked it. I have a big love for cars. I don't really talk about that on the channel. I love cars. I love Japanese cars, but they would have this like intense, like really memey nowadays kind of electronic music where it's just like really really trite American lyrics over this like super aggressive like boom, 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 kind of sounding electric stuff. And in the context of like going fast on like a Japanese mountain in a video game, it's just like I really liked it, and I had a lot of fun. And there's some of those songs I can go back, I can still listen to it, and yeah, good stuff. But outside of that, not a lot of good non-guitar music. I can't really think of any. I'm struggling. I'm genuinely trying to think of non-guitar music, and I can't think of any I really like. So who are some of you guys' favorite bands then? It doesn't matter, because I know some of you are younger, some of you are older. I feel like I'm right in between. I'm on the wrong side of 30. But I'm still young, and I still look very young. And I've noticed in YouTube, a lot of people think that, I'm in my early 20s. And that's normal for me, because even when I was going out and playing for years and years and years, I was still like getting carded to get in, like in my late 20s to play gigs. And to this day, now I have a few gray hairs. You're not going to see them as well on the camera, but in person, people see gray hairs and they're like, oh yeah, you're definitely, of age. But I kind of pass for younger. And it could be an advantage, it could be a disadvantage. If you're trying to look a certain age, or present yourself as older, if you're going out and trying to meet girls and stuff like that. That was kind of an annoyance. But at the end of the day, that's a good problem to have. I'd rather have that problem than be balding at like 22, which, what are you going to do about that? That's tough. That's really tough. But as far as bands go, yeah, just let me guys know who some of your favorites are. I'm really curious about that. I know Rowan's. I know Rowan has gone into a little bit more. Hey, Jason, I do, and I already told everybody before. This has the 5808s already in it, or the 5708s. When I set this guitar up last night and I was gonna restring it, it came with 10s. I don't like playing with 10s, so I figured I was just gonna, do it anyway. I had them for the other McCarty, and why not? So what I'm gonna do now for the single cut, oh yeah, they're fantastic. The coil split's so much better. Than the stock ones. But with the other McCarty, I'm gonna call Lindy Fralin, and we're gonna get a set of those, the pure PAFs. But they're really cool with me, man. There's a few places, and I have to say this, and this is outside of like the negative stuff that happened with the other guitar. There are some companies that I have been talking to, and that will just talk to you about anything, and they'll give you such good advice. And if you go directly to them and not just on Reverb, these guys will give you such good deals. They really will. They'll help you out. They'll talk you through things. They'll act like how customer service should be. And a lot of the problems you have, like shops like Anderton's and that American shop, well, I'm not going to mention pretty much ever again on this channel by name. But it seems like they're more in it, just for the sale, and that's fine. But they kind of miss the point of, building a community and like doing things from the ground up and doing things for the right reason. Not like, oh, we need to hit 1 million subscribers, or in this video we're gonna feature this person who already has 1 million subscribers to try and get more subscribers for us. And it's just like, I don't know, like to me, for a business it makes more sense to do that because you're trying to move inventory, you're trying to make money. I get that. And you also like Robbo was saying on a comment I saw before I posted this, talking about you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you as far as being supplied gear. You have to take that into consideration too. But it does make me appreciate shops like Gun Street Wiring, their shop in Portland, Oregon. Any guitar wiring harness, they've been custom making them for me and not charging me a whole lot, even less than Reverb, just because I've been talking to them. They're awesome. They're really good company. And Lindy Fralin for pickups. Oh, they're the best. On top of the fact that Lindy will sit on the phone and will talk to you about whatever. The quality is to die for. I'm late. Which McCarty did I get? This is a McCarty 594 S2 double cut. And yeah, it's got the brother or sister. I don't know. That's probably more of a brother. The single cut version of it. But very, very wild. Very wild. Needless to say, when I saw the box, I thought maybe something a lot cheaper than an American made PRS. I didn't know what to think. The whole thing was wild to me. That this person actively messaged me, and this is somebody I've talked to in the past before, and and then they don't want any credit, and that's the other thing. I'm like, I'll say, and they're like, no, don't say anything, and I'm like, okay, so, but again, going back to the point of shops and doing things the right way. I'm not saying every shop or person should be giving stuff away, but it's just like it's your intentions to me, because like this one person, they don't want anything from anything, whereas other people it's just like, what can you do for me, or can I throw my name on this and put it out there? It's like when a celebrity athlete or a celebrity actor or something like that, you see in the headlines, this person donated $10 million to this charity. It's like, did you donate that $10 million for a tax write-off? Or did you donate the $10 million to get your name in the paper? Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of cool people that donate more than that. Not that there's anything wrong with $10 million, but they'll never want it known. And I don't know. I respect people a lot more with pure intentions in that aspect. But yeah, that's just me. Yes is awesome. Dude, you know Cornelius? No way. I know so many random Japanese bands. I'm actually making a video about that. I'm starting my list about Japanese bands that I love. I love them. There's this one band I've gotten into semi recently. Oh, I love this guitar. Just Thomas. I adore it. It's really light. It's light. And it's very resonant, and then once I put the pickups in it, it's a whole nother beast. But yeah, there's one Japanese band, I can't stop listening to them, and it's so poppy. Like, it's not guitar music, like, to me. It's straight pop. They're called Super Beaver, and it just works, man. It's really good. And oh my god, what was this other band that you guys would really like? Elena, what's the name of that Japanese band you've been listening to? Do you remember? What's the name of the Japanese band that you've been listening to like nonstop that you love?
Well, Asian Kung for Generation.
No, the new one with the it's kind of like dancey-ish.
Oh, Bradio.
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 Bradio. Yeah. Band is so good. So good. It's so smooth.
So
It's like
funky.
it's like if Bruno Mars didn't suck
So
and
funky.
and the music was good. It's so good. It's really good. It's fun music.
And they're all 70s out.
Yeah, some people say Oregon, some people say Oregon. What do you say?
Oregon.
Oregon?
Like an organ.
Like an
almost.
Oregon?
Yeah,
That's
Oregon.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Pronounced ordering one. Which one are you going to be ordering, Thomas? Well, what are you narrowing it down to? And what do you have now as far as other guitars go? Because I can give you a little bit more, of an opinion here if I know what else you got. But I don't think you can go wrong with any PRS. Period. I think even those SEs, they're killer guitars, man. They're killer guitars. The Paul's guitar, I will swear by that guitar. I think the Paul's guitar and the Custom 2408 are the two best value new guitars you can get, period, for under $1,000 from any brand. I don't think anybody touches it. Certainly not Fender. And Gibson, I don't think did Gibson even make a guitar under $1,000 anymore? The P90s. They have a satin P91 that's $1,000. That's it. So, no, yeah. PRS, way to go. The Fiore. Yeah. I want to try one of those. I couldn't justify the Mayer, the Silver Sky, because I have the JV Strat, and I don't need another Strat. But the Fiore it intrigues me a little bit more. And it's also a bolt-on. But I think that one has... What's different about that one? That one has the humbucker in it. I know. I think the bridge is different on the Fiore compared to the Mayer. But that looks awesome. If I could find one of those in person, there's a dealer for PRS that's about 20 minutes away. I'm thinking that you have to call and make an appointment to go in. I'm thinking of calling them because I want to try that new Zach Myers too. Calling them and see if they'll let me bring in the camera and try those two guitars out, because obviously I want to try Fiore. I really do. And it's just a lot of money to gamble on. And obviously I'm not in the market to be buying guitars. And that's not a guitar that you buy to resell right now. So, yeah, maybe if that happens. But it looks awesome. It sounds great too. Mark Lettieri is one hell of a player. You have a Strat. Okay. You have a Strat. I would say the Fiore over the Silver Sky then for sure. Because the Fiore is going to be more kind of like in that kind of Sewer or Tom Anderson style, where it's like a modern kind of like super Strat, because you're going to get your traditional sounds out of the neck in the middle, but the aggressiveness of the bridge on that. And I wonder what pickup comes in that and the Fiore. I'm not sure, because if it's an S2 pickup and not a core pickup, I don't know if I'd be as apt to recommend it, if I'm just being totally honest. I'll have to look up that. But yeah, that'd be good. But if you seem to have a lot more traditional ones. I would say one of these, honestly, just a regular McCarty, a 594 McCarty, be really good. It'll give you really good coil splits on it, so you can kind of get into that realm of the Fenders that you like. Or if you want something with the trem, the CE24, I cannot sing those things praises enough. You can get one of those used for about $1,400 if you wait at davesguitar.com. Actually, I think they have a CE24 for sale right now. That's like $1,200 at davesguitar.com. If you look at their used inventory, it's like $1,200. Steal. Those will do everything. They're really good. I received a Mesa. I had a Mark V, which I loved. I love that amp. That was one hell of an amp. But my dream amp is just a rock reverb. That's it. I love it. I think the rock reverb is a perfect amp for me. I'm basic. An amp I would like to have would be the Friedman, the PT20, the Pink Taco. That thing sounds amazing. I love it, but it's a one-trick pony. It's a one-trick pony. Does it better than any other amp? Does, but it's a one-trick pony. But definitely, I take the Rock Reverb. Special new design pickups. Do they have for the Fiore when it says special new design pickups? Does it have an S at the end of it? Because if it has an S, that means they're imports. If it doesn't have an S, then it's probably a core-made pickup. And if that's the case, then yeah, Fiore would be awesome. For sure. Vox AC10. Yeah, the Vox AC10 is great. I told one of my buddies who was using a big solid-state amp for a while and didn't like it. He just wanted something scaled down. I said, yeah, check out that amp. And I think he still has it to this day. I love it's one of the only digital reverbs that I like is on that Vox AC10. Sounds really, really full. It's nice. A lot of them can kind of sound kind of plasticky, but the Vox, that AC10 is good amp. Okay, let me see here. German metal. I know who Rammstein is, but I've never heard of. Except I don't know. I'm not really big into metal. I know sometimes I'll kind of like blurt out like some aggressive stuff, but again, it's just random licks from Japanese bands. If I'm honest, from you guys, when I'm playing my metal stuff, it's either Hizaki, who I love Hizaki so much, or Versace's band, stuff like that, or X Japan. X Japan's like the OG Japanese band. They're so good. They were so good. You know, Hide, the guitarist, you know, he died in late 90s. But I know Toshi, who's the drummer and the composer and the pianist, he's still around. Or Yoshiko. Toshi was the singer. Oh, I'm losing my mind here. But the CE24, just going back to that real quick, I would love to try the semi-hollow of that. I think that it would be really a more reliable, almost version of my 339. And I love the 339. I do. You guys, you watch. You know I love that guitar. But the PRSs are so much more stable. They're so much more reliable. And you know, it's just if you're only gonna have one of these kind of guitars, I think it's a good shout. And the CE24, again, hollow body you can get for $15.50 if you know where to look. And it's hard to beat them. They're just hard to beat. And the only thing that sucks about PRS, and this isn't all PRS, but it sucks. If you get an S2 or a CE24, you're not getting a decent case for it. And it is a nice gig bag. I'm not going to put it down. It's nice. It's probably the second nicest gig bag that any manufacturer uses. But it's still a gig bag. And you're talking about like a $2,000 instrument. It's ridiculous that they don't come with a hard shell case. That's just me. No, they won't. It won't sound the same as the regular the CE24. There's no way. It's just the design of it. It's going to have a lot more resonance to it. Acoustically, it's going to sound a lot better, and then in a recording scenario, it is going to be substantially different because the way that they do that is different than the way that Fender, like when they make a Telecaster thin line, it's a different kind of construction. It's just like a straight F hole in the wood. Versus the way that, you know, Gibson, they do it. It's on both sides of the guitar. So you do get a lot more resonance from it. And that's one of the reasons I think the Zach Myers has one hell of a value. That's really, really, really something else. 2 hours from Dave's. You live that close? Yes. If you live that close to Dave's Guitar Shop, I'd be there every weekend. I'm on that site every single day. That is no exaggeration. I refresh that site every single day. They have the best prices. And it's just, they don't sell garbage. That's the other thing. Because you can find places that will give you deals on stuff, but you don't always know what you're getting. And, you know, I bought that pink PRS I had, the single cut, the S2. I got that for $600 at Guitar Center in their used section. But that thing was destroyed, dude. It literally had rust on all the strings. The frets were all rusted out. It was filthy. There was like little grime on the guitar. There was soda spilled that wasn't cleaned up on the face of the guitar that they didn't show in the pictures, like because it was just one of those. And this is why Guitar Center is part of the reason they're going out of business. They're morons. They have one picture that's taken about like 10 feet away that has like a 200 by 200 resolution, and that's all you get in their use section the majority of the time. So I bought the guitar because it had the birds on it, and I knew that guitar didn't typically had it, and it was the Grandma Hannah pink, which is a rare finish. But but the point is, I didn't know what I was getting quality wise. You don't know, but when you go to Dave's, you're getting a mint thing every time. And if there is a problem, they have it pictured and noted, so you know in advance. That is probably the best shop in America, if I'm being honest, to buy a guitar, in my honest opinion. Yeah, and especially if you're shopping for a PRS, especially if you're shopping for a PRS, there is nowhere that's going to beat Dave's guitar. Nowhere. You're going to get the best price, period. And they don't pay me. So this is just my honest opinion and my honest truth. But I will be right back in 1 minute. I have to run to the bathroom. I will be right back. 1 sec, guys. All right. All right, that was quick. Hypothetically, Fender make me a single. If they made me a model, what would it be? First, I have to pick a design. I'd pick a Jag. I would pick a Jag. Vintage radius. They would have to ship it with a mastery bridge on it. I don't like the Fender bridge, not that much. And I would have Fralin pickups in it. It would be Taos turquoise with a matching headstock, and that would be the only color you could get it in. And it would be a real dark rosewood slab board. That's it. I'm easy. And traditional switching. None of this, not like the Johnny Marr, where it has the three-way, right on the top of the horn there. No, I would do it old school. That's how I would do it. That's a really interesting question. I never thought of that, and that was actually a much easier decision than I thought it would be. The only other one I would really think about would be a telly, but how many signature tellies are there? And I'm plain Jane. I like a double bound telly with a rosewood board. That's it. Ryan Fowler's Experience. I've never heard of that shop, but you better believe I'm gonna write it down. I will check that out after the stream. Did I say I was going to change the pickups? On this 594, I already did. I put in 5708s. And on the other one, I am also, because to me, that's the only problem with these guitars. People will, if you go on forums and you're researching these guitars, they'll complain about a few things. They're going to say that this sucks, the tuners, because they're the non-locking tuners. To me, not a big deal whatsoever. I just cut myself on the string. I forgot to cut the edges off. They will also say that the bridge isn't very good. The bridge is awesome. I have no problem with that. The only thing that this guitar needs is a case, a real case, a hard shell case, and it needs better pickups in it. Now, that leads me to an interesting thought and discussion basis, and that has to do with the pots and electronics. To me, I left in the alpha pots that control the coil splits. I left those. And really, if you have a multimeter And it's a cheap tool that every guitar player should have anyways, because it's really good for, testing out electrical problems you might have, so you don't have to bring it into a tech. As long as your pots are reading out at the correct level, so like for example, if you have a 500K pot and it's reading out at 300K, and it doesn't matter if it's made in America or Korea or wherever it is, that means you might be losing tone. But this idea that if you get an American CTS pot or whatever, and you replace it with you replace the pots that come in stock with these, which is not an American one. I think the ones that come in these are made in Korean spec. If they both are doing the same thing as far as having the right amount of voltage to them, as far as the 500K versus 250K, if that value is correct on the multimeter and it's close enough, you're not losing tone, so you're not going to gain anything from it. The only thing you're going to gain is on a more expensive a pot, like an audio taper pot, like a volume pot, the more you kind of swell from the volume itself when you're playing, you're going to get a lot more usable tones out of it. So good way to test that is when you're just playing your guitar, just mess with the volume and see how much play you have. Because really bad pots, what'll happen is it'll go from like all the way almost like off to like on. There's like no wiggle room. Whereas with a tapered pot, there's a lot more play and it's a lot more usable. And it's a good way to not spend any more money and get different tones out of your instrument. So just food for thought here. So on these, they read out fine. I left them in. So if they die, they die. I got a bucket full of guitar pots. I can replace them at any given time. But yeah, not a pressing need. And the switch that comes with this is apparently the same that come on the core. Same for the output jack. So to me, this was easy deal. I had to desolder 4 wires on each pickup, rip them out, put them in, brained it, done. Coil split on a chopper T. Coil split on a chopper T. I wouldn't do it. Nah, I'd leave it as is. That's just me. Yeah, because it's not gonna really give you what you want split. Not that pickup, and it's a good pickup, and it's really great at what it does. But no, I would leave that just wired standard. And then because you're still gonna get telly bite out of it just because of the design of the bridge and the body itself, you're still gonna get telly tone. So yeah, no, I wouldn't bother. I'd leave it as is. Splurge on a Core 594. And this was I don't know if you were here earlier, but this was something that I'm really debating. And not that I'm gonna do it for myself, but as far as this advice question, this is the exact question that I'm trying to fight with. And my train of thought is here. Say you have $2,300. All right. You can get one of these brand new for 17. You pick whatever finish you want. And with these right now, there's not many of them available. So, if you used especially, I think there was like three or four period. So used, the market on these are really tough. But if you're gonna buy new, you have a little bit more options with colors if that's something that's important to you, and weights and stuff like that. So say you spend 17 something like that after tax, 1850. You're gonna want a case for it, and you're gonna want pickups. That's just how it is. Because you listed off the guitars you have. And in this example, I'm going to assume somebody else has, pretty decent stuff as far as their other guitars go. Then you're looking at 22, 2300 for everything. Then maybe you don't want to do the electronics work yourself. You have to factor in maybe another $60 to bring it into a shop. $2,400. You can get a used McCarty, a Core McCarty. I've seen them as low as 25. But more typically $2,800 to $3,000. So what are you really getting for the difference then, outside of the pickups that you would swap in the case? To me, one big selling point of the S2 line, I like this bevel. A lot of PRS purists, and I'm not a PRS purist, they don't like it because the Core has that kind of violin curve on the top. To me, this is much more comfortable. If that's important to you, that's a lot of it right there. Then that's a big difference between the core and the S2. You're going to get the locking tuners that come on the McCarty. You're never going to have to replace a single thing with the electronics on the McCarty. The nut it's a bone nut on the McCarty, but this is the same nut that comes with the rest of the core PRS guitars. And I don't know why people were trying to say this is the same one that comes in the SEs. This is not. This is a good quality nut. But other than that, I mean, it's still a one-piece mahogany body. It's just the S2s have the bevel, and the cores do not. They have the violin. The neck is a 5-piece neck versus a 3-piece on the core. I do know that for sure. The core is just one piece of wood that goes all the way down here and then connects into the body, and then the wings are actually jointed into it. And on the S2, it's 5 total pieces making that up. So I don't know. I think if I didn't have any of these, and it didn't matter to me if it was new or used, and I could swing a little bit more, if I was gigging with it, I'd go with this, the S2. If I was going to be sitting at home with it and recording it, I'd go with the core. That's probably how I'd be doing it. Hey, take care, brother. I'll see you. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I know. That's the thing. And PRSs are. I love PRS. I make no bones about it. I love PRS. I know a lot of people that don't like PRS. I know a lot of great guitar players. I know a lot of pro guitar players that don't like PRS. But the best thing you can do is just try and find one of the high-end ones in person. Because you're going to be able to find one of the S2s, and you'll get a decent feel for it. They're pretty good off the wall. But if you can find one of those used cores in person, that's gonna be a deciding factor, because you don't wanna ship something back. If you're gonna spend almost $3,000 on a guitar, you don't want to have to pay to ship that thing back. You don't want to deal with the headache. You don't want to know what you're getting, and that's what sucks right now. Just about the way things are and the way inventory is. It's hard to come by. Yeah, the studio of course, fantastic. It's fantastic. It just looks weird to me with the near fields instead of the humbucker. It looks strange, but it sounds unreal. And it plays unreal too. Those are great guitars. I prefer wood type. It depends on the guitar. I like mahogany on solid bodies that are set necks. I don't like mahogany. I had that what was it? Yeah, Troublemaker Telecaster from Japan. That was mahogany telly, and it was heavy. But outside of that, I don't know. I like alder. I prefer Swamp Ash on Fender style guitars. I think Swamp Ash is the most true to the classic Fender tone. That's just me. I want to go to the PRS experience. I want to go and tour the factory and bring the camera and just have fun and see who I can talk to. I as you can you kind of get from the channel and just even me just talking. I'm a huge proponent of detail. I'm a huge proponent of information. I like to know as much as I can about whatever I can, and I'm really passionate about guitars. So I don't know everything. I never will know everything, and that's kind of endearing. I like the fact that you can always learn something else, whether it's about the design, the materials, or just the instrument itself, or just music itself. It's a never-ending process, and that's why I think it's such a invaluable thing to get as a hobby or a living. The Neofields are, yeah, I can't. They sounded great. There was a guy that had, before I moved out of San Diego, he had a Tiger Shark PRS. It was a prototype, and it just had the 2 Neofields in it. Ooh, it was killer, man. It was killer. It didn't have all of the over the top kind of bigness as far as once you went to the drive channel, but clean. My God, it put a few Fenders that I had on a high pedestal to shame, if I'm being honest. It's that guy just knows what he's doing. That guy just knows what he's doing. And I've only been to a few guitar factories. Speaking of factories, I've been to Fenders. Yeah, they are what they are. I've been extensively through the Dean Guitar Factory, which kind of looks like a frat house in many ways, with a shrine to Dimebag Darrell. And the PRS one is one I'm very interested in. And I'd like to go to Fujigen in Japan. I'd really love to tour that one day too, because they made some of my favorite guitars ever in that factory. But yeah, it's I don't know. Gibson I'd like to see too. I don't even care about the factory part of Gibson. I just want to go to the quality control department. I just want to see what those people do all day. That's all. I just want to see what a day in the life of somebody who does to do QC for Gibson, what they actually do. Because some of the stuff that gets by their quality control, yeah, I'd like to see it in person. I live in southern Florida now. Dean is close to me. Dean is really close to me. Dean is hour and a half away. No, more like 2 hours north, outskirts of Tampa. I went there when I was living in Orlando many moons ago. Maybe they changed the facility a little bit. But the PRS factory is definitely on my list. Hopefully we can get there in the summer. Because we used to go to a place called Ocean City in Maryland. It has a boardwalk. And every summer we would drive out there, and that was kind of like the family vacation thing. So I'd love to take my kid there. And then not too far away is Paul's factory. So I can, two birds with one stone here. Always got to sneak in guitar stuff. Always got to sneak it in, even in the family trips. I'm obsessed. What am I going to do? But this has been fun. I've been doing this for an hour and a half already. Jeez. I like that you guys have been, really interactive. That's been a lot of fun. It's different during the experience. Yeah, I've seen videos of the PRS experience where you pretty much have all access. And it makes me sad that we might not have stuff like that anymore. I know NAMM already, they've announced they're doing it virtually again. So, and that was fun. That event up in Anaheim. You never know who you're going to meet up there. You never know who you're going to see. You could be sitting outside and just playing, demoing through an amp, and John Mayer might come and sit next to you. You don't know, and that's kind of fun. It's adventurous. It's a different kind of thing. I like it a lot. Yeah, I've heard of Jimmy's. I will definitely be up there at some point. I have some family that lives in Sarasota, and that's kind of in between where I am right now and Tampa. But yeah, I like to get to both. There's a lot of places I want to go. There's a lot of places I want to see. And, I want to go back to Miami, and check out what's going on over there. It's not really my scene per se, but there's a lot of cool stuff. There's a few really cool shops out there. A lot of cool cars, too, in the eastern coast of Florida. And that's interesting to me. I like that a lot. But what time do I have to take you to work?
Well, we only leave at 2:30.
All right. So I'm going to get ready now, you guys. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. Really, this has been a lot of fun. But I'm going to try and film the intro for the review for this guy for tomorrow now, before I got to take my wife to work, because I need the car so I can pick up the little one at preschool tonight. But I don't have to roll an outro. I don't have to do anything like that. Just sincerely, thank you guys so much. And let me know if Thursdays would be better or Fridays would be better, as far as which would work. But I like this time slot. I think this is a perfect time slot. And granted, we're never going to have a billion people at this hour, just, based on how things are. But, I like it like this. So let me know which day would work better for you guys. And yeah, and tomorrow you're going to get to hear this guy. I even, in the demo, I played some kind of lead Japanese shredder music, which I don't think I've ever done on this channel before, but I wanted to try it. It sounded good, so you can watch me botch it then. So yeah, Thursdays. Cool. I think that's where it's going to be at. So thank you guys. Many thanks for everything again, and I will see you next time. Take it easy.